What up? What up? It's just Trav. Um, Let me try to explain this as best I can. Uh, there's connection issues, audio and with video on Mike's end. Came back in the second time. Really wasn't much better. I thought maybe if we could just do audio and without the video, it would be worth doing. I think he might be trying again. I'm not totally sure. I know I got some people, tuning in and everything right now on YouTube. Um, I'm not opposed to doing an impromptu on the spot. If Mike can't go, if there's somebody who's willing to come on and share your testimony live with me without even having to know of you, if you want to possibly do that, let me know. We could send, I could bring you, I can go to YouTube and bring you up on here real quick. But let's give Mike another chance to see if he could get in there. Fun. I'm calling right now. Hold on. We'll be back. All right. So Mike is currently calling his phone company. I think it might just be router stuff. I kind of feel bad because I can't say that, but I've talked to him on a few other lives and stuff, and yeah, audio and video is really choppy. Um, it just happens, maybe depending on where he's living or how good the Wi-Fi signal is or service in his area. I'm not sure. It could be just a phone itself, but it just really wasn't going to get any better, and there was no way to. We couldn't do that for an hour and a half. Like nobody would. You wouldn't. There's no way. It would just be more annoying than a positive from it. Like so much would be cut out, and we wouldn't be able to hear them. Um, so we're not going to be able to do Mike Miller's on the spot tonight. If there's anybody who's watching that wants to come on and share your testimony with me, we'll just talk and make it up on the spot. I can send you the link. If not, we're probably just going to wrap it up and try it some other time. Stuff like this happens. So, I'm not going to let it, bum me out. Hopefully it doesn't bum him out. I'm sure we'll talk, but with as bad as the connection was, there was no way we were going to be able to do it. Maybe I'll get on Facebook Live. If anybody wants to come on Facebook, do a live with me, I'll even be willing to do the big face, because on Facebook Live, it puts my face like right up here. Other than that, I don't know. Drop a comment if you're interested in sharing your testimony. If not, I will talk to you all some other time. Really apologize. I had all my questions and stuff written out and was ready to go, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen tonight, guys. 7 viewers. I apologize to y'all. If anybody wants to do on the spot, I'll put the. Hold on a minute. Here is. Here is the comments. There is the link to be a guest. You hit that link, I think you'd be able to come right on. I hope somebody listening does try that. I'll bring you right on, even if I've never met you. I'm good enough to, make up some questions as I go along. If anybody, I don't even know if you could do that. If you could, if you could copy and paste that link. I'm not sure if it's just, YouTube people or anybody that knows me from God-based recovery. Not really sure. Drop some comments so I know who's all watching. Not sure if Josh is still here or not. Or message Deb. Yeah, she knows the link too. Is that Rick Mortel? Let's put him on the spot real quick. That'd be something, huh? Well, right now, I don't know if it's just Rick and Josh that are watching, and maybe just some random people on YouTube. But anybody wants to come on and share their testimony, they think Mike just text me. They think it's his box. Sounds like a personal problem, but I'm sure he means router or whatever. But anyway, I don't see nobody taking me up on the offer. 9 people watching. Anybody that wants to come on and share their testimony, the link, the invite link is in the comments. I think you might be able to hit that and come right on. If not, message Deb, my wife, and she'll send you the link and you can join me and to share your testimony on the spot in place of Mike Miller tonight, who's got some bad connections. What's going on there? I'll wait around a little while. Yep. Kirk. Cool name. All right, 6 people. Rick Mortel, you're still on here, brother. We can do your on the spot right now. It'll be the quickest one I've ever done. Just met you a week ago. Hit the link and come on as a guest. If not, let me know, and we could do it on Facebook if you want. I'll give it another minute. Anybody that wants to come on and share their testimony, let me know. Hit me up. We'll do it on Facebook or on here. I'm ready to go tonight. I'm putting somebody on the spot. Somebody's going on the spot tonight. I don't care who it is. Who's it going to be? You got a testimony. You got a story of transformation to share with people, and you're going to share it. They're going to share it with me. They're going to share it with God-based recovery. It's going to be on YouTube, and somebody's going to hear it, and they're going to need to hear it, and it's going to change their life. So somebody hit the link. Somebody message Deb or myself, and let's do this. Who's it going to be? Guarantee it's going to be somebody before this night's over with. By the time I get done smoking half this cig, which is bad for you, don't do this. This is an example of what not to do. By the way, it's Brian Hurley's birthday. He's got his Cash App on Facebook. Somebody buy that guy a drink. This kid, he needs to be in this group. Send Brian Hurley a God-based recovery invite. That's what he needs for his birthday. That'd be a great on the spot, Deb. See if you can make that happen, would you? I definitely know we can't do it in person. Jen Frony message me. I wonder if Jen would come on and do it. Is anybody else? I don't know. Who cares? Anybody else want to share their testimony? Let me know. Well, I'm going to get on Facebook. I'm going to get somebody to come on there. I'm into this. Oop, there's Teresa. There you go. Not happening tonight, Mama T. Mike's connection's too bad, so we're not able to do it. He said he called the company and something. He said they said it's probably his box. So Jock, yeah, that's what I call Josh Goggins. Jock Goggins. That'd be awesome if Josh Goggins came on here and gave his testimony. People don't know how persuasive I can be. It's just weird because I don't know who's all still on here or not. But I see 6 people, so I'm patient. I'm displaying patience. Somebody wants to share their testimony. So I can feel it. It'd be really cool if it was just a random YouTube viewer that just came up. Speaking of, that's ironic you said that because that's definitely one that's been circling around the old duder's brain about asking someday. Yeah, I definitely would like for her to do that. It may take a little longer. I'm not sure. I don't really know, but I just started kind of getting that idea. Something like that, though. I don't know if I'd want to like really put that on the spot, but I am hospitable. 7 people. One of those 7 wants to give their testimony and their story. It's not a gotcha interview. I'll share things right with you. There's a guest. There is a guest. Oh, just Deb. Deb? She's gone. She left.
Mm-mm.
Well, a little bit about myself. I'm an Aries. I was born in Logan County. I don't know what else to do, hon. It's not for the faint of heart. It's not as easy to do. No, she's definitely not doing it. What? Who? Mm-mm. Oh, there's more people watching that I don't even see them in here. No, it's okay. Well, that's about it. Not an easy thing to do. Not an easy thing to do. But probably gonna have to get off here. Run out of things to say. Just too alive. I just did one earlier. All right, listen. Show you how this is done. So I just did it live earlier, and This might motivate some people to do this. These are my beliefs that I've come to firmly believe in over this last year and 3 months. Let's just say last year, since December 18th of 2023. I got to recap. Your story, your addiction, your past, your trauma, all the negative things you could think of that really happened, that you were put through, that you suffered through, but survived. Now that you've been clean and sober for however long period of time, you have to put yourself on a road of discovery. I know it's called recovery, and that's fine. I'm not dissing recovery. But when you use all your past stuff, all the stuff that made you want to drink and drug in the first place, abandon your family, be a bad parent, be a bad coworker, no work ethic, no ambition, nothing, no drive. But now you're clean and sober. You got that. The key to staying clean and sober is by taking all that junk in the past and talking about it, just for one person to hear about it that you may not even know exists. You may never hear from them. You may never know they heard a word you said. That's where faith comes in. Because once you let that out, and then if you do have the fortune of having somebody tell you, man, what you said is really my story too. Like Jeremy Wursler says, when people say something, then I say it, I always give them the credit for saying it. I'm sure he heard it from somebody else, but he said it's like when you hear your story through somebody else's mouth and voice, it does something to you. That's what God is trying to do for somebody else. We heal when we take our pain and we share it out truthfully so somebody else can hear it, relate to it, it resonates, and then they stand up a little bit and be like, okay, I could do that. He just said that. Heck, his whole story is worse than mine. I never done none of that stuff. I never robbed my kids' Christmas presents on Christmas Eve. I never stole money from my grandma and smoked crack like this guy. So you do that. You share it out. And somebody hears it, and it makes them want to say something for somebody else's sake, not your own. You don't share your trauma and your pain and your neglect for yourself. You do it for somebody else. That's a way of spreading the good news. God sees you doing that selflessly, and you go from recovery to discovery, because the more you let out for other people's benefit, the more God heals you and replaces it with blessings. When you're just in recovery, my experiences, when I say you, I really mean me. For some people, when they're just in recovery, they get out to get clean and sober, they put a mask of recovery on, they start living recovery vicariously through other people. They take their stories, their shared experiences, they go home, they tell the family about it, they add some of their own stuff into it, but it's not truthful. There's bits and pieces, sure, and it feels good. The family says you're doing a good job, or proud of you. Heck, you can sleep in the bed tonight, not on the couch or garage no more. Awesome job, honey. Now you got a 30-day coin. Woo! Now you share something at the recovery meeting and somebody else says, hey, that's awesome. That feels good. But see, you're doing it selfishly then, because now you're just wearing the mask of recovery, and you're getting the validation high. That's what when you're just in recovery, every addict that puts the bottle down, the bag down, the pipe down, the needle down, whatever, they get into meetings and they share a little bit and they get that pat on the back that, hey, thank you for saying that, man. I really needed to hear that tonight. That's a hit of validation. That's our replacement drug as recovering addicts. And now we're the recovery guy. Man, I can't wait to learn all the steps so I can tell you all about them. This program is what you need. Your higher power is anything in the room. So now we're chasing our recovery like we chased our drugs and our alcohol. We're chasing that. It gets exhausting. It doesn't protect us from bad days. We're doing it for ourselves too much. They say recovery is a selfish program. Yeah, but it can go two ways. When you search for who you are, minus the bad childhood, the absent parent, the deadbeat dad or mom that you became, the no work ethic worker that you are, the hopeless addict. When you discover who you are because you're walking with Christ instead of chasing recovery, you find out who you are meant to be without all the drugs and the alcohol, all the harm, all the trauma, all the guilt, all the resentment, all the shame, all the neglect, the abuse, the molestation, all of it. You get a God will help you separate what happened to you from what you did as a result of what happened to you. And you get to see your parts and all that. Then you can learn how to forgive the person and let the sin go. That's when it comes to forgiveness, when we discover who we are really meant to be, who we are created to be in God's image, when we understand and realize at whatever age, look, dude, there's no way. Okay, I live in a small town. I'm a product of my environment. I understand that. I saw some bad things when I was a kid, had some bad friends, just wanted to fit in somewhere, wanted to be cool, wanted to be liked, whatever. Wanted to numb the pain out, right? Okay, now I'm recovering. Now I got to chase that for the rest of my life. I got to go to a meeting 17 years later and get in there and say, hi, I'm Trav. I'm an alcoholic and addict. Well, I'm clean and sober, though, right? So that's better. But if that's enough for you, then awesome. You keep doing that. You keep going to all the meetings, hearing the same stuff, saying the same stuff. Okay, you're going to die clean and sober. That's awesome. But the thing about it is that for a lot of people, and I can say this because I've seen it and I know them, they put recovery before God. And it becomes an idol. It becomes a master that they serve. I just want to kind of look on the other side of recovery, move the curtain of recovery back and see, like, well, what provides the recovery? How'd the book get written? Where'd all the steps come from? Why are all these people around these tables? What's with all these detox centers and these medications and all the rehabs and all these lived experiences from all these people and these faces? God is your recovery. Once you realize that, you start reading and investing time in the biggest book, the Bible. Without that, there is no AA, there is no NA, or any of the other A's. For me, it just got to the point where I had to know who am I, who can I be for others' benefits and for God's glory, minus the drugs, the alcohol, minus all the trauma and all the grief that I just use as excuses to do my thing. Every bad thing that happened to me, let me tell you all something right quick now that you got me going. I'm a little bit different when it comes to stuff like this, but I'm not special. This is the honest to God's truth. I've never said anything on these videos. When you see my face in a square, the words that come out of my mouth are true from my own lived experiences. I don't have no other time to waste to make up nothing else. Everything that's happened to me when I was just an innocent victim, wrong place, wrong time, when I wasn't the instigator of anything, I just had things happen. Okay, there's bad things that happen to all of us. We got that in common. What I did with all that stuff was use it as a sympathy tool for friendships, relationships, heck, even jobs. The TV raised me. And if I was the product of my environment in a low-income housing development, friends would come for the spring. They'd be gone by late summer. A woman coming as the fall, they were gone by spring. That happened my entire childhood through my teen years. all these friends that I would make would be gone eventually, because I never realized that a lot of families move in there because they've fallen on some hard times or they're in between jobs and they're gone. Very few stayed there for over 10, 20, 30 years like me. But I still use the abandonment. I use the neglect. I use my mom's situation, the people that passed away, all of that as I got older as a means to gain friends and sympathy, to get drugs and alcohol, for people to take me out. That's what I did with it all. So I never knew what loss really was supposed to feel like. No emotions were ever regulated. I just watched a lot of TV that had a lot of similar, way more situations and circumstances than I was really living. But I would think of like, well, this is happening around the neighborhood and in the house or at my grandma's or my mom's being this way. And I'd watch TV and I'd see how these people would interact and solve their problems or talk and communicate. So that's what I would do. And that's what I did when I got into recovery all them years later. I took a little bit of truth, like the stuff that was inside my own house, and then I would take a little bit of fantasy or a little bit of made up world, scripted stuff, and I would just blend them. And I'm like, here's what's going on, because it made me look good. And it would make me feel good for a little while, just like drugs and alcohol did. But it was fleeting. I was never building myself up because everything kept piling up in me and just get switched around. Now I don't know where I'm wrong and they're wrong and what's up and down, who knows. And it would always cause fights. They would always, everything that happened to me kept happening. Abandonment kept happening. Jobs lost, friends gone, relationships wouldn't last. None of it. It's been a fleeting life because I just never knew how to do anything. So I get into recovery all these years later. And I'm sharing some truthful stuff. I'm that guy, okay. I've always known there were good parts of me. But as you get older and you don't deal realistically with all this that's inside of us, and you're able to separate who you are minus all of that, it's just, you're just living in a fog. You don't even know what real feelings really are. So I would just talk and make up stories, put a little bit of truth in there. Definitely would have some emotions to it. Nobody knew nothing. They're like, oh, that guy's really sharing some stuff. That's really hopeful. That's awesome. 30% is true. The other 70% is made up, but I'm glad you feel better about it. What was that doing for me? What did it do for me? It was so superficial. It was a hit of validation, baby. Because I was able to say something and sell something to somebody else. I never sold drugs, but I could sell you a recovery story like nobody's business. And then I'd go home and say something about it. Man, I don't want to. I know I shouldn't say this, but I kind of shared something, and it was really hard to do. Didn't really want to talk about that time with my mom, but I did, man, because I'm really after this. I shared it out, and this guy, I ain't really seen him but a couple times. He's never shared. He's quiet, and it really affected him, and he's thanked me for sharing it. And I think it's really going to help him, and it feels good. Yay for me. So now I just went to a meeting to sell a bullshit story because I ran out of stories. I was wanting that validation, so I kept just hitting, like the hamster with the water straw thing, the cage. But it would be empty. There was nobody to fill that up. I would just keep doing the same thing. So now I got to make up stories. So I'm not getting the pats on the back anymore. There's fewer people, and less frequently is somebody thanking me for what I'm sharing. So now I don't like that. So now I don't get to go home and say anything. I don't get the pat on the back when I go home. And then add to the story that just I took from the meeting. So what was I recovering? How was I chasing my recovery when I kept just spinning my wheels in the same rut that I've been in since I was a kid? Selling the same BS, just painting it up, putting a nice bow on it. My recovery was propaganda, was what it was. Now you can be in addiction and do the same exact thing. Oh, I'm working, I'm functioning, things are getting done. I'm still here. I'm showing up at family gatherings, this, that, and the other. Heck, I gave a buddy of mine a ride to work the other day. I'm doing good until it gets worse and worse and worse. But then you got to keep coming up with bigger, bolder lies to tell yourself. Now you don't even have a job to go to give a buddy to ride to work. Now you got to lie and self-deceive and manipulate yourself, your own thoughts more and more and more. So you get caught. Now you're not doing drugs and alcohol. You still crave some type of distraction because now we're sitting there with our feelings back a little bit. We're not so blurry. We're not so numbed out. And now you see the wreckage of your addiction. There it is. There's the bills piled up and everything else. You got 20 points at work and it's February. So you can't even miss a day of work the rest of the year. If you even held on to your job. But you ain't doing drugs and alcohol. Now you're going to go to a meeting. We're still there. The same manipulation, the deception, and the lies we just carry into recovery. And because we're not doing drugs and alcohol anymore, it's okay. Because now we got to kind of navigate through this recovery and be the recovery guy. And everybody knows you're white knuckling it. But since you share a really good story, it's from the heart and bold and courageous. And somebody says, hey, thank you for sharing that. Oh, that's all I got to do? Because I know if I go home with this story, that's all I need to do. We don't chase recovery. We get that one hit of validation. When you get off of drugs and the alcohol, you're not chasing recovery. You're chasing validation highs. And you think it's recovery. And you call it recovery because everybody else does. Here's a coin. Another validation. Everybody claps for him. Yay. Sorry to dog that a little bit, but I mean, come on. How old were we? Now, some really want it. There's people that do the steps, that do sponsorship. I totally understand that. But even that doesn't get you closer to God. They say you're supposed to have a spiritual awakening at the end of step 12. Okay, well, they can happen before you even read step 2. Now, had an issue with drugs and alcohol, life's become unmanageable. Get all that. That's why we're in the meetings, you would think. But sometimes that spiritual awakening can happen before you even go into a meeting. It can happen sometimes before you even step into rehab. It can happen when you get sick and tired of who you've always become. And maybe you got a reputation in this town, and maybe you're liked for all your flaws and all your defects. Maybe you're the guy that shows up, you're real dependable, and everybody likes you. You're the life of the party, you're a fun guy. Who are you at night when the lights are off, there's no party going on? Now you can't tell anybody about your struggles because people think you got it all together. I mean, you can be clean and sober and still live a lie. I don't think that's enough for me. So that's where discovery comes into play. AA and NA will always be there. But I'm telling you this is what I know. I knew if I did this once again just my way, if I just went into the meetings and said some stuff around the same old people in a small town, went to church a little bit, made sure that Deb would see me read my Bible, say some nice stuff, act a certain way for a while, then started getting out of the doghouse a little bit, then my participation level and interest would drop. I'm like, hey, I got it. Things are getting busy. I got to go to work a little bit more, do this. House got to get clean. I don't need to go to 4 meetings a week. Just 2 is good. 1's good. I'll go every other week. They suck. That's one guy who said some stupid stuff. I don't even like to go anymore. I feel worse when I get home, so I don't even want to go to the meetings. And then there's an argument, and I'm back out the door. Because I was trying to sell somebody the idea that I had it, that I wanted it, and I never did. Until I decided that the only way to do any of this truthfully and in a way that it'll sustain you and keep you interested and motivated is when you decide, I don't care what age you are, I don't care how your health is. I hope you got good health. But this was 46 when I started doing this, when I finally got to this point. My old life ended 11/11 to 23. I'm not perfect. I can still be annoying. I'm impatient. I got my vices that I call mountains. I'm supposed to write a list of all my vice mountains and start picking one a month to really put some work into that matches my faith so God can see me making an honest effort. And then there's no goals to set. The idea is just to work towards these as consistently as possible and let God provide the success. One a month. An honest effort. That's discovery. I want to know by the time I die, whether it's tomorrow or 20 years from now, that on my last day of this earth, I was trying something to just be a little bit better of a person and then let God decide how good of a Christian I am. I don't worry about being a good Christian. I don't know what that means. I'm a Christ follower. He was the only perfect Christian there is. No, my religion, I guess, is Christianity, whatever. I'm just a Christ follower. I don't even like calling it that. I don't do labels. I just want to be a better person. My wife deserves it. Their two boys deserve it. My son deserves it. The man I look at in the mirror deserves it. God deserves my best. And since he removed and healed me from some things I never was going to, because, well, heck, why would I want to remove stuff that I could always use as crutches and excuses? You know, you can't wear a mask without having a crutch. What that means is excuses from your past. Yeah, you can cry about them and say they hurt and, oh, it's horrible. Oh, I still think about this person to this day. Buy me a beer yet? No. Oh, gosh. People do that. I did it. Then I just did it. Okay, I'm the only one. When you put a mask on, you're using a crutch, something from your past. Well, I can't do this tomorrow because of all the stuff that happened to me in the past. Don't you just get to a point where you get sick and tired of being that way? Don't you want to just try to see if you could be a better person? Don't you want to see if in fact God created you to be something more than that? I mean, it means the world to me. It's made all the difference in the world. So, moving forward for the rest of my life, it's not going to be easy. I don't want to go work out. I don't want to feel sore. The smoking, the caffeine, the nicotine, all these vice mountains that I'm going to write down and share with you guys sometime. We got to pick one a month. My birthday's coming up on the 29th, and I'll be 48. I know the beard don't give it away. There's no gray in it, but whatever. God bless me with vitality and youth. Vitality. Put the vitality in the gym. I don't know, man. Things are going to evolve because I'm willing, ready, and able to have them evolve. I won't be the guy 9 years from now that's going to be talking to you about the same addictions and the same recovery just because I got a group and I got to keep numbers up and I got to keep views up. I'm not going to be doing it. As the days go, it becomes more about God by the day. It becomes more about fellowship in the meetings. It becomes more about how somebody sharing something can motivate me and help me want to be a better person in all areas. What are you hiding from? Here's the scary part, and I'll end it with this, I think. I'm still kind of new to this, you know what I mean? But I'm not. It doesn't matter because my truth precedes me. That's what I want my reputation to be if I could have a say in it. I want people to be like, dude, he told the truth all the time. There's people I surround myself that I know are just like that. But my thing is, if truth is in the dirt, I want to dig until I die. I don't want there to be any black specks, any dark secret corners in my soul, spirit, or heart that I'm taking to the grave with me. I don't want to hear a bunch of people say, thank you, your inspiration, thanks for being truthful, and whatever they say. It's all God's glory. I hardly hear it anymore. I didn't put myself in this position. God led me to it. I don't have the ability or right to take any credit. It's nice to hear, but I literally don't take any. But the thing for me is, if I'm going to get on here and say this stuff and be this way and try to help as much as I can, because that's all I want to do, I'm a slave for Christ, then I better not be holding nothing back. Nothing. Even if I think it's insignificant, it should be shared out, written down, given to God, whatever. That's definitely a fearlessness that I have. A lot of things freak me out and stuff. You know, I'm a little jumpy sometimes. Deb knows about that. Sometimes a loud, sudden sneeze makes me, jerk, but that's okay. There is nothing in my past that I wouldn't waste a seconds of hesitation to tell you about. Because I just don't know. It could be anything. It could be something stupid. But as long as it's truthful, and it may just hit somebody's ears and it brings back a memory of theirs, and they're like, wow, okay. They reach out, maybe they talk to me about it. Next thing you know, they're sharing about it or writing about it or saying something. Then somebody else hears them say something about it. That's how it works. It works like that. It's designed to work like that. Your past, everything in it. Listen, Jeffrey Dahmer repented, asked for forgiveness. And if you see some documentaries, I'm using this as an example. I'll get to it. People know who Jeffrey Dahmer is, right? Unforgivable, psychotic, evil, all that. It's documented when recordings and everything else that he repented and really sought forgiveness and really got into the Bible and really gave his will and his life over to God. Do I believe that God forgave him? Yes, I do. Because it's written so. If you ask for forgiveness and you repent with all your heart for all your past junk, God wipes the slate clean. So then you say, well, did Jeffrey Dahmer get to heaven? Didn't he want to know who he was without all the sadistic killings and homosexuality stuff? You think that's what he was really meant to be? Of course, demonic spirits and influences and drugs and alcohol got in there, and product of his environment, and mom and dad had something to do with that, blah, 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 blah. And he chose to do what he did and all that stuff. I'm not condoning nothing. But what he, I think, decided to do was like, well, where did this go wrong? How did I get to this point? This can't be me. And I think he gave all that up and he repented and asked for forgiveness. And who am I to be like, no, ain't no way God could forgive that. Really? Forgive them for they know not what they do. There's people who beat and killed Jesus, and Jesus told his Father, forgive them. So whatever you still got that you're holding on to, don't have it be a deathbed confession. And I'm telling you this, you're only going to be able to help people as much as you're helping yourself. And the way you help yourself is by giving that stuff up. That really helps somebody else twice as much. Because then you're going to get stagnant. If you're like, well, I've helped people for quite a while. It's been like 9 years, and I got this following, and I know a lot of people have helped me, and I've helped a lot of people, da 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 da. But So you feel like, well, this is good enough. I've really made it. I'm doing all this stuff, but these 4 or 5, 2, or even one thing that's still in here, there's a secret that supposedly will keep you sick. You're still limiting God on what he can do for you because you haven't given that up yet. The more you give up, the more God gives you. More opportunities, the more blessings. I truly believe that. That interests me. It really does. The last thing I'll say, though, I've talked with a lot of people this last year. I met a lot of people like the Mike Millers, Foster Chambers of the world, Josh Goggins, plenty of others, Jeremy Worslers, each with their own story, each with their own past, each with their, coming from a certain environment and household and childhood, each with their own addictions. And they talk boldly about it, and they share, and they help people. And the thing that motivates me almost more than anything is to see everybody become a leader for others and create other leaders. Share your story so somebody else can lead somebody else. There's no such thing as followers. We are followers on our separate individual paths following Jesus. That's it. So when somebody hears a story from you that you shared out boldly and courageously, and it lifts them up, and you just see a light come on and they start heading in that narrow direction, yeah, that's what God brought you through all your years to get you to a certain point, to put a certain person in front of you so you could tell them the truth and nothing else. So he would switch something on in God's timing for that person to go on and do the same thing for somebody else. Don't you dare keep anything inside here, because that one thing that you might be keeping inside here is that one thing that God had planned for you to talk about for that one person that can only hear it from you. So in the end, when you say, hey, what a life, turned my life around, gave all glory to God, helped a lot of people, it was great, I don't want to hear, yeah, but what about that one thing that you didn't ever let out? Really needed you to, because that one person that was supposed to hear it didn't get to hear it, and they didn't make it. They chose the white path, and their life went in a different direction. Everything you got in your closet, all them skeletons, are supposed to be shared and exposed so somebody else can have a better shot at life. They're not your skeletons. It's not your abuse from mom or dad. It's not your neglect. It's not your abandonment. It's none of that stuff. Once you surrender your will and your life over to the care of God, we stand under him as he understands us. It is your obligation, out of respect to your creator and savior and rescuer, to say every possible thing that you can remember at any given second, because that's how God and Jesus save people and forgive them. They have to be led to him. And if we're led to him, we tell others what God has done for us, never about who he is, because he's someone unique in every one of our lives. You tell people what God did for you that we could never do for ourselves, and then they go do that, and they go do that, and they go do that in God's timing. It's incredible. I've witnessed it. I love that. It's the most selfless thing you could do, but it feels so good, and it makes you want to do more of that. If validation is real, it exists in seeing the healing of somebody else just by hearing the pain of your past. Don't hold nothing back. Don't be that person. He left the 99 for the one. So if you help 99 people, but one gets away because you're afraid to share something and say something, I don't know, pretty good percentage. God saved us from everything. So we say everything he saved us from. That's about all I got to say. So I turned that into something. I guess that was cool. I don't know. Got to write my mountains list tomorrow. It's time to get off here, eat something. I'm sorry Mike Miller wasn't able to do it tonight. He's I bet you he comes back. We kind of agreed on it on a short notice anyway. It wasn't even supposed to. We wasn't really supposed to be doing it for a while yet. And I had some feeling this entire time. I just didn't want to be pessimistic. I probably didn't pray enough for it. But I'd be lying to you if I said I didn't expect his phone to have the issues they did. I knew it. And probably should have tried to do something about it. I mean, what am I going to do? Make him get a new router and phone? So I was just being hopeful, but I knew better on this one. So apologize to everybody on that. Hopefully I shared some stuff tonight. I shared earlier that another live video was kind of similar to this. So just didn't want to waste the hour, waste your guys' time. So hopefully this was good. Last thing I'll say, if you're my friend, whether you're female or male, mostly males, you know what I'm saying? I'm not really that guy. Unless, Deb is really mutual friends with somebody that might, once in a while we'll talk or something like that, mostly about groups or meetings or whatever. Cause I've done, on the spots, with females and stuff like that. But if you're my brother, especially, you don't have to be my keeper. And I can't be yours. But we're going to evolve with each other, but individually. And the reason I know that is because I will not allow you or let you not share everything that's in your heart with me, the group, or whoever. You put it all out there and you find out who in the hell God made you to be. It ain't going to be it's not a millionaire. It's not somebody with their face on a magazine or in some movie or something like that. Okay. If you're not living your life glorifying God by telling people what God has done for you in your life so they can get God in their life, then you have lost the meaning of life. The meaning of life is to share your experiences of what God has done for you, for other people, to believe in Christ and get to the afterlife. And then possibly see all those people that you had some influence on when it was just God all along. So that's all I'll say. I'm going to get off here. My feet hurt. I got to get something to eat. Keep an eye out for Mike Miller's on the spot coming up. What I could do here right quick, though, is tomorrow night we're back with the recovery meetings. This guy named Alistair McIntosh probably needs to get in one of these meetings. You don't worry about in-person meetings. Get in these meetings. If we're friends, if we're brothers, you've got to get in one of these meetings. You don't have to have your camera on. You don't have to have your microphone on. You don't have to say nothing. You don't got to chat or anything. I just need you to hear not what I'm saying, but what 16 to 20 other people will have to say in these meetings. Once you hear it and experience it for yourself, you will understand what these meetings are all about. You cannot find them anywhere else. That is not an opinion. It's a fact. If somebody's listening and you haven't been to one of our Zoom recovery meetings, tomorrow night, 6 p.m., be there. I don't want to say nothing else. They are life-changing. Is that too much to say, Deb? They're life-changing. Because the Holy Spirit flows in these meetings through these authentic, these bold but vulnerable people at times, sharing their most intimate stories. When they're in the meeting, they're opening that door to that closet with those skeletons in there, and they're just reaching in, and they're like, here's this one. This is what this one represents. And they share that with us, a newcomer that comes in there I've never heard before, ever even heard of before in my life. Who comes in there with everybody else who's more regular people, attendees, and they share something. And it's, I I want to say miraculous, because to me it is. I'm like, I can't believe I'm in a position to like hear stuff of this and participate in it. Goosebumps for 2 hours. They're mentally exhausting, but it just drains you of anything negative. They are priceless. So if that sounds like I'm promoting them too much, come and check one out for yourself and see if you don't have some better adjectives to use. 6 p.m. Saturday night. Sunday night we'll be back. Monday, Tuesday. Wednesday night's Bible study. Thursday night we got another meeting. Friday's the only days we take off. And then we're going to have guest speakers. Gary Ebanks. Gary the Hype Man. Ebanks, he's a CHH artist, Christian hip-hop artist. I played some songs and shared some videos of his. He's going to be guest speaking. For I don't know how long, at least a half an hour probably, on Saturday the 15th. Taking some questions and some feedback from attendees. April 6th, Stephen Perez, another CHH artist, incredible man of God, talented like none other. He's going to be guest speaking. We got Ryan Tieford coming up, Rainey Jones, Kalen Matthew Ballard, I think is going to do one eventually. He works a lot. He's a local kid, local guy, so I can't wait for him to do that. And maybe Blake Spradlin might even have a spot here eventually. So if you know any guest speakers that would want to come on in one of the meetings and share a little bit of their testimony, talk on a certain topic, please invite them to talk to me or Deb or somebody else like Teresa, who's been a member with us, from the beginning. These are incredible. If people want truth in their life, and if you're one of those people that say, I hate liars, then get into these meetings, because I'm telling you, not a single lie gets spoken. How can you say that, Trav? You don't know all these people. Yeah, I do. They're just like me and you. No better, no worse. So come check these out. I appreciate every one of y'all. Got some on the spots coming up that I know we'll be able to get to and have them run smoothly. Jeremy Wursler is doing his part 2 on March 23rd. Who else I got coming up? CJ Galeese on April 4th. There's some others. I have to check my calendar. But until then, man, 6 p.m. tomorrow night, get into this recovery meeting. Ask Debbie for the passcode. I got the passcode. Check the featured section out at the top of the God-Based Recovery page. The posts for the meetings are in there. Everybody, until then, stay blessed, but God-based. Love y'all.